Everybody has experienced burnout in one area or another. Burnout is a phenomenon that's so widespread, especially in content creation in YouTube, and I have experienced it myself. There's countless creators from big to small who report having been burnt out and given up YouTube. Whether they have millions of followers and one day they just call it quits, or whether they're first starting and they don't actually achieve that momentum because they burn out early, prematurely. Nobody talks about the reason why it happens, but I think I finally cracked it. After trying and starting several YouTube accounts and TikTok profiles and Instagram profiles over the last many years, and repeatedly sort of stopping and giving up and encountering all kinds of difficulties, I think I finally have it distilled down to 5 keys. And I'm going to share with you my personal experience with YouTube so far, and how this time it's going to be different. And the first point is that this time everything is completely unscripted. The only thing that I'm going off of is bullet points, 5 of them to be more specific. And so the first point, without further ado, is it was not sustainable. Everything was extremely scripted, extremely well polished, and creating the content itself, scripting it, would take me hours and hours upon hours of overthinking, refining, repolishing. Now we have ChatGPT, so scripting could be a lot easier. The problem of that is that in doing this, essentially I deprived the videos of that raw nature, of that raw quality of something that's unscripted, honest, and just purely and uniquely me. Now, this sounds cheesy, and I'm sure that this is something that's not entirely new to you, but the reason why that is so important is because in a place that is so saturated as the social media space, the online space, where everyone is trying to build a personal brand, if you don't double down on your points of differentiation, where you automatically, by default, are decommoditized. What do I mean by that? Is you are not a commodity. You don't spew the same stuff that everyone else does. Yeah, sure, maybe the core ideas might be similar, there might be some areas of overlap, but the way you say them is vastly different because you're using language that's authentic to you, and the fact that it's not scripted actually enables you to get into a flow of consciousness, if you will, where stuff just feels and connects and hits different. By not over preparing, by not constantly refreshing and reviving and rehashing the scripts, you're basically freeing up a ton of time to connect with your audience, to express yourself openly, which I felt like was missing a great deal. And that is going to take me to the next point, which is I did not actually enjoy doing it. Now, the reason why I didn't enjoy it was because I was seeking it as a means to an end. It wasn't something that I was doing for the joy of it, for the love of it. And how could I be doing that if everything was so scripted, if everything was so robotic? I had to constantly make sure that everything that I was saying was right, that it sounded and that it flowed correctly, and that it just put out this image of what I thought I should sound like and what I should look like. Whereas now I realize in hindsight, that's the way to do it. The way for it to be sustainable and enjoyable is to actually find the reason why you're doing it as a means in itself. And that reason for me is as a chance of self-expression, as a chance of sharing what I actually genuinely think and want to express with the world. If I can't do that in an unscripted fashion, then that in itself is hiding yet another thing, which is that I did not think that it would work. Deep inside, I had this feeling, this sort of insecurity that if I speak my mind, that if I share openly the things the way I think them, with a vocabulary, with whatever sort of articulations came to mind and these pauses, then it would just not work. It would not connect with the audience. And that's actually the exact opposite from the truth. Yes, there are 2 types of creating content. Well, there's many types of creating content, but one of them is highly polished, highly scripted. The other one is this sort of free-flowing, freely connecting, riffing sort of vibe. And this is what I'm doing right now because I've tried the other way. It didn't really work for me, and it wasn't even fun. Does that mean that this is guaranteed to work? Absolutely not. But at least it's satisfying in its own right, because just like the saying goes, it's not the destination, it's the journey. It's cheesy, but it's true. You know you're getting to truth when things that used to sound cheesy start to resonate and to make sense to you. That takes me to the next step, which is I was not motivated. I was not motivated to persist, to continue posting, when I was not getting results, when I was not getting the views that I was expecting, when I thought that the input, my amount of work, was vastly disproportionate with the output, with the results. And that's because it was all about me. I was making it about me and what I get out of it. And that's the problem intrinsically, because I like to think, I've realized over the last few years, that actually us as humans, whether we think of ourselves as selfish or not, we're actually not as selfish as we think we are. Because a lot of us will make promises to ourselves that we're going to get out of bed, that we're going to go to the gym, that we're going to get disciplined, organized, that we're going to basically be our best friend in one respect or another, and then we just don't follow through. However, I want you to think of your own experience. When's the last time someone that you care about deeply, a friend, a loved one, family, whatever, has asked you for your help in an area that you think you know you can help them, and you turn them down? I think that that's probably not a very frequent occurrence. And that's basically to say that when the call to action arises, when the call to support and to help someone is there, you take it, you jump at it, and you don't need no motivation for that. It's because it's in you to support and to contribute and to bring your contribution and to be seen as such. That is the byproduct. That is your reward. You would not continue to do anything that does not reward you back. It gives you something. It gets you to be seen. It gets you to be appreciated, validated, etc. So in that sense, it is in a way transactional, but it's not selfish. And in that space, you don't need motivation. It's the same with YouTube. And this is the biggest transformation, the biggest sort of shift and realization for me. All of this content, when people set out to create YouTube channels, to build businesses off the back of them for themselves, for their own gain, that is a flawed way to look at it. It's a way that's guaranteed to make it unsustainable. That's going to make you give up when you're not seeing the results, because that's where the ego intervenes, and it makes you entitled. It makes you think that you deserve and you need to get certain outcomes out of it. When you shift that locus from it needs to sound this way, it needs to look this way, so that I am satisfied with it, so that I look the way I want to look to the world, so that I'm perceived the way I want to, and you shift that to, I'm going to create this content for the people out there who need it, for anyone that it may resonate with, then that's basically freeing you of having to script, of having to control this thing excessively, of having to over prepare for it. And then you can basically flow freely, like I am right now. Well, not entirely freely, I'm still working on it, but the point of it is that it's a very different experience from trying to tick all these boxes in your mind, which is completely irrational anyway, because you have no idea what the world is actually going to expect of you. And just because you tick all those boxes, it's not guaranteed you're going to get success. Either way doesn't guarantee success, but one guarantees satisfaction, intrinsic satisfaction in its own right, and the other one doesn't. One leads to burnout, and the other one is what I now view as the likely more sustainable path forward. And that's basically it. That is the final point here, which is the shift. The way you want to look at it is, it's just content. It's just content, and it's a numbers game. It's a game of volume, and it has to be sustainable. You have to be able, if you want to start a YouTube channel, you have to be able to do it in a way that's sustainable. And sustainable means fun, enjoyable, motivating, and it does not add too much operational drag to your daily life, to your weekly life. We all have jobs, responsibilities, families. It needs to fit around that. It's kind of like a hobby, it's kind of like a passion. We make time for our hobbies and for our passions because we enjoy them and because we want to. So that is the way you make YouTube sustainable. And that is how I intend to tackle it this time around. So basically, find my tribe, find my audience that I can support, that I can serve with my videos, with my content, with what I have to share, all of my experience. And that's it. I hope you liked it. If you do, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a like. And I'll see you in the next one, where I won't. Until next time.